right, peace be unto you. Assalamu alaikum. I'm Qasim Tajuddin, aka Riko Shay, and I want to thank everybody for coming out on this Sunday afternoon for What's the Knowledge, hosted by Al Ijaba Foundation. So, a little bit about Al Ijaba Foundation. It literally translates to the answer. Al Ijaba, that is the answer for cities like Birmingham, cities like Montgomery, cities like Selma. And our mission is to establish inclusive Islamic communities for underrepresented, underserved areas and communities. So that entails, either buying property or acquiring property to establish masajid or mosques, giving digital assistance to senior communities that need help, and overall just being a presence for community service and outreach in areas that we could regenerate and revitalize Al-Islam. So at this time, I would like to open up with the best chapter of the Holy Quran, the opening chapter, which is Al-Fatiha, and that translates to the opening, and I'll translate for the English. And, feel free to pray however you wish to at this time. A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim. Bismillahir rahmanir rahim. Alhamdulillah rabbil alameen. Ar-Rahmanir Rahim. Maliki yawmiddin. Iyyaka na'budu wa iyyaka nasta'in. Ihdina siratal mustaqim. Siratal ladhina an'amta alayhim ghayril maghdubi alayhim waladdallin. Amen. I seek refuge with God away from Satan, the rejected enemy. With the name of God, most gracious, most merciful, the merciful benefactor, the merciful redeemer. All praise is due to God, the cherisher and sustainer of all the worlds, all the systems of knowledge. Most gracious, most merciful, master of the day of judgment. Thee do we worship and thine aid do we seek. Show us the straight way, the way of those upon whom thou hast bestowed thy grace, those whose portion is not wrath, and who go not astray. Amen. So just some housekeeping notes. If you can, silence your phones. Restrooms are down this hallway to the left. Have a very special, very, very special guest, good friend of mine. He's been a part of my journey as an entrepreneur, as a creative, Riko Harris. And that is who we are here today to hear from. And also, too, I want to highlight some special guests. We have some members from the Birmingham Islamic Center, Birmingham Islamic Center. So I want to thank them for taking time out of their day to be here today. All right, so a little bit about Riko Harris, the founder of iPush Media. Riko is a full-time entrepreneur, speaker, and business consultant. Riko has 2 degrees, one from Google University and one from YouTube University, aka self-taught. After shutting down his first failed business, M3 Magazine, Riko went on to create the iPush brand after one day of quitting. iPush stands for I Possess Unlimited Skill and Hustle. Riko has transitioned from being a coal miner to a successful entrepreneur. iPush started out as social media to an online magazine, then a printed magazine company, and now a successful multimedia agency. Riko was born in Birmingham, Alabama, but raised in Atlanta, Georgia. Riko lives by his principles of doing right by people and being himself. And before I bring him up, just a little bit about why we're here today. What's the knowledge? What's the knowledge is a educational experience, and it's similar to a ta'aleem. A ta'aleem for Muslims is basically where the main imam or pastor equivalent gives a talk to the audience about a topic and is open for discussion after. So this is a way to bring a ta'aleem element to the city of Birmingham. And with What's the Knowledge, the vision and mission is to have either Muslim speakers or non-Muslim speakers come and give a topic about their choice that they would like to talk about. And then we will open it up at the end for a Q&A and discussion. So make sure that you listen attentively. Feel free to take notes because we want to open this up for discussion after our great guest speaker is coming to talk to us today. And also, knowledge is power. Knowledge is power. The more that we know, the more that we can be successful in this life. So at this time, please put your hands together for Riko Harris.
All right, thank you, Brother Riko. Again, my name is Riko Harris, and I'm honored to be here today. I don't get a chance to see Riko Shea, as much as I used to. He's traveling a lot, and so when I got the call, I was honored to come in. And so my name is Riko Harris. I'll be y'all guys' speaker today. And so name of my company is iPush Magazine. I have some free publications on the back table when you get ready to leave that you guys can take with you. But like you said, I'm gonna go back a little bit of who I am, just y'all can understand who you're talking to. And so I'm just a young guy that was born here, and I had to leave at a young age. My mother started suffering from mental illness, and my dad, he had moved on and moved to Atlanta, and he decided to get me. And just being raised by a single father, it's tough. A man that don't know how to love you and tell you he love you, but you can't harp on that. You just learn from that. And so I was raised in Atlanta, and decided to come back and start taking care of my mom, and I still take care of her now. And now I'm taking care of my father. He just had a stroke not long ago. But coming back to Birmingham, something I didn't want to do, man. Atlanta's fast, and Birmingham was so slow back then, and it's catching up. But God put business in my life, and when I started doing business and became an entrepreneur, I fell in love with Birmingham, because Birmingham is a gold mine for an entrepreneur, small business owner. So again, I was working as a coal miner, making real good money. I had all the toys, the cars, four-wheelers, and I got the big house. But I was miserable, y'all. I was miserable working underground, mandatory 6 days a week, mandatory 12 hours a day. Can't see your family really. You come home, you're tired, trying to figure out, what's your purpose in life, because you're making money, you're buying stuff, but you don't feel the purpose in life. And so that was something I was struggling with. And at that moment, but it was extremely hard to go to work every day. And then I realized I was getting depressed. I was getting depressed, making good money, which was backward to me because I prayed for this good job. But God still showed me the way that I need to go. And there came a opportunity to create a publication. And I felt at the time there was a need for a magazine in Birmingham, a Black-owned magazine, something that we could look at, something that we could enjoy, something that we can see ourselves, something positive, and something of quality. And so that was a gift I would say God gave me, and said, hey, if you're gonna do anything with excellence. And so that's what I brought to this magazine. And so even having this magazine and working full time, trying to figure out how to get the magazine, the struggle was still there. And so you just keep bumping your head and you keep figuring it out. And regardless of how hard it was to make this magazine, I never got to a point where I didn't want to do it anymore. That's when I knew this was my passion. It didn't matter what obstacle I had in front of me, all I wanted to do was this. And so I took the leap of faith and I left that job, and that money left too now. That money left too. But with faith and with that passion, man, I kept pursuing this, and things kept getting better, and I kept figuring out how to make this something that's going to thrive, and also how to make a living off of. So now, 15 years later, I'm still doing this. This has spun off into multiple streams of income. Most people are like, man, how do you make money doing magazines? A free magazine at that. It's not the magazine that sustains me, it's all the other opportunities that come from magazines, speaking engagements, consulting, I'm doing commercials, I'm doing all type of things. We do social media management for different companies. But I stayed faithful to this one thing that God showed me to do, and I fulfilled it, and He opened up other doors. So that's how I got into making a magazine. A little bit about me again is that in my bio, I believe in doing right, people. And in this city, man, when you're doing business, a lot of times you run by shady people. And so I believe in doing business, man. Your name and how you present yourself, you carry yourself in business is everything. And so I believe in doing right by people, because my name is in other rooms when I'm not there. And people like Riko presented me in front of his event because I keep my name good. So that's just a little bit about me and who I am. Now, what I like to do is, because I didn't know what type of audience we was gonna have today. Like, I know I wanted to talk about marketing, brand, and business, but all the time we don't all have a business. So it's important to know who's in the room and know, what you're here to learn. So I'll start with you right here.
Hey, I'm Josiah Kenty, born and raised in Birmingham, Alabama. Birmingham City Schools native. I ended up going to Kentucky, same kind of thing. I didn't think I was ever going to come back, but ended up playing football. Had to find an identity outside of it, so now I give back to the youth by teaching financial literacy.
Okay.
Partnered with the Birmingham City Schools under IMC Financial Consulting. So,
Okay. Good deal. That's what's up, bro. Yes, sir.
Okay, Al Elliott, Birmingham City Schools teacher. I'm also a performing artist under the name Thad Weller. Basically, outside of teaching, I like to put together events. I guess you call them social events to promote certain working together characteristics without actually having a class and doing that. I was doing the It Is Written series, which basically was basically a community songwriting event. But just trying to be able to be a catalyst to try to promote the things that I would like to see happen. So that's kind of what I am, what I do.
Okay. So, yes, ma'am.
My name is Sadiqa. I am actually from Mobile. I came to Birmingham for school. I was at UAB since 2019. Currently, and I went to school for business management, and from that I've had several business ventures. I have a position in my field as a truck care general maintenance manager. I'm sure you guys have heard of Love's a Travel Center. We keep the trucks and trailers moving on the roads. I'm also a LLC holder. I have my own real estate business, and I am currently pursuing an endeavor to start my own nonprofit. So, very excited to hear what you have that can, help me balance out all the different avenues that I'm pursuing.
Okay. Okay. Yes, sir.
Hey, my name's Chris Gaines. I'm a fellow filmmaker with Mr. Riko. Just recently got my EIN 3 months ago. I own a company called Cinetherum Pictures. Did a little bit of schooling online at Cambridge University for screenwriting. Plan on finishing up with for MicroMasters, and I help with Ali Java.
Okay. All right. Thank you. Yes, sir. Yeah. Yes, sir.
Yeah, Imam Muhammad Abdullah, Imam or leader of the Birmingham Islamic Center, Muslim organization.
Okay.
I'm Aisha Abdullah, and this is my husband. And since I know what this is about, I'm interested in ideas that might help me to pass on things to our adult children who could probably benefit, because I'm interested in their getting started with generational wealth.
Oh, yes, ma'am. Absolutely.
So this year, currently a student at UAB. I just like business, so I thought it would be a good idea to come to see what topics you're touching on. I saw the brochure or the flyer, but more in depth, I guess, is why I came.
Okay. Yes, sir.
Hi, how you doing? I'm Derek D. I'm an actor. I collaborate with Riko on some filmmaking and things like that. But for me, I've been involved in a lot of business as a youngster, and I'm just trying to navigate my way through what's next. So also, just always try to be supportive.
Okay. All right. Good deal. Good deal. Okay. So today's topic, we titled it "Doing Business Upside Down," and even for whoever's in here that's not actually may own a business, own an LLC, or you might be just a creative. We're still going to touch on some topics, because what we're talking about today affects everyone in some form or fashion. When you're doing something that's organized, it's almost in the sense that you can take a standard of doing business and take this approach. So I've been doing business for quite a few years, and one of the things I get to do is interview other business owners. And so a lot of times I'm talking to entrepreneurs and small business owners, just trying to gauge what they're thinking, what they're going through. And so in today's time, a lot of entrepreneurs are struggling. A lot of events are struggling, businesses are struggling. And so I started asking myself, why are businesses closing down? We can blame it on the economy, the president. We can blame it on AI, whatever you want to blame it on. But we have to look at the totality of things. How we do business now is different from how we did business in 1970, 1980, 1990, even how we did business in 2000. Most of the time when people started business, the focus was, okay, I'm going to start a business that has a product. And all you know is, hey, I have this product. How many can I get? How many can I sell? What is my profit margin? Where can I sell it at? Who can I sell it to? Now, the flip side of that is, if you're doing anything business related in this modern day and time, we have to understand who are we selling to. And we start talking about demographics. And you know, demographics is the type of person, their height, their age, their weight. But now that is an old way of thinking, trying to figure out who your demographic is. We want to figure out who our social graphics are. And that's how these people think. And so when you're doing an event, you're trying to reach kids, you guys are trying to reach the youth, or you have a business, we have to start training our mind to think, how do other people think? What are some of the niche things that they like that we can hone in on? So when we're on Facebook and we're on social media, our data is consistently being sold. And people want to learn our habits. What are we thinking about every day? What are the certain things that we like? And they break off and they put us in these different little boxes. Our information is being sold, okay? And so we're as entrepreneurs, even as small business owners, we're being preyed upon because they're watching our everyday habits. And they don't care who we are anymore. They don't care if we're black, we're white, what our religion is. They don't care where we stay, our social class. What they care about is how we think. And that's how they market to us. And so now we have this information and we have to start thinking about, how do we pay attention to our demographics and how do they think? And how can we use that information? So you have a small business, you have an event. Let's start thinking, how do these people think? What do they want to see? What do they want to know? What do they want to do? And that allows you to benefit off of your business. So do a business upside down. So in the past, we would get on social media. And let me back up. So in the past, when you first got a business, everybody would do traditional stuff. Everybody would say, go get a Facebook ad, billboard ad, radio ad, word of mouth. Very traditional. Then the market space got real crowded. Everybody's on TikTok. Everybody's selling something on Facebook. Everybody's selling something on Instagram. How do you stand out in the market space when everybody, 1,000 people doing the same thing that you're doing, even including events, because I'm in the space with you at events. How do you get people to come to your event when everybody's doing the same type of events you do? How do you stand out? You just send out a blast, a wide email that says, hey, come to my event, shop with me, buy from me? No. All right. So a period of time, people start seeing that I can't get people attention like I used to. I'm on Facebook every day. I'm posting every day and I can't get people attention. I'm only getting a few likes. I'm only getting a few follows. I'm only getting a few shares. People are not coming in to my event. People are not sharing my stuff anymore because the market space is so convoluted. Because the technology is moving so fast, it's hard to show up in the market space and stand out. And so what people started doing was saying, hey, we don't want to know who's out there anymore. We just want to know how they think. And so what I'm telling you guys today and what I have learned is to retrain our mindset. If you have a product and you have a service, who are you talking to and how do they think? How does the average person think every day when it relates to money, when it relates to starting generational wealth? What do they really want? What are they thinking about every day when they hear buzzwords, generational wealth? When they hear different things when it relates to events? You have to really break down and say, hey, I want to know what is the thought process. How can I figure out if my avatar or my target audience is a 35-year-old male that likes to go to events, social events. He's frugal. He's not going to spend a lot of money on clothes. All right. He doesn't drink, but he might spend a lot of money on his car. Okay. You got that person. Now, how do you match up what you sell, what you offer to that particular person? And the reason I'm going over this, people, is because I'm talking to people that are closing their doors. They're closing their businesses because they have a great product. They have a great service. And when I talk to them and they say, Riko, I'm struggling to get people in the door. And I say, well, tell me about your business. Why would people come to you? Well, I got a great customer service. I tell them, everybody got great customer service. Well, I got the best cakes in town. Everybody claim they got the best cakes in town. What makes you different? It's understanding is why people would even want to come to you in the first place. How do you brand yourself? Are your colors matching to the point where they're attractive enough to make someone come in the door? So I'm focusing on what we're thinking about, because what we're doing as entrepreneurs and small business owners, we're getting excited because we have something, we have a baby, and we want everybody else to see our baby, which is our business, and go out there and thrive. But we're forgetting that we have to give people what they want, not what we think we want. So doing business upside down is saying that the traditional way of doing things is creating a business first. The new way of doing things is figuring out how to get people attention first. That's what we're paying for. That's what we're competing for, is people attention. So before we start that business, before we create that event, before we go on to even do an LLC, and you have that idea, it's in beta mode, it's in your mind. Before we take it out of beta stage, let's figure out, how can I get people to buy this? How can I get people to support this? Because we're lying to ourselves and we're going straight to Facebook, and we got 1,000 family and friends and they're not supporting. Then the struggle comes because we had invested money into our business, into our event, and we jumped out there ahead of time because we're basing this off of what we think people will want to see, what people will want to buy, instead of doing the actual footwork to say, okay, who are these people and how can I get their attention? Before I even create the business, how can I get their attention? Because that's going to determine if your business thrives, event, or whatever it is you do in the long term. Is how, can I get people attention? Can I sustain getting their attention? Creating content is a great way, and Riko can attest to this. People typically start a business, and then they start getting advice from people, and people start telling them, well, you got to start going live. You got to start making videos. And we hear it all the time. Well, I don't like going live. I don't like my voice. I don't like this. I don't like being on camera. I don't like social media. But that's one of the key things that's going to create content, that's going to get people attention, that's going to keep the traffic coming to you. So understanding before you even start a business is saying, hey, I got to be social media savvy. It's just no running from it. And most of the time and I've talked with children and even adults, what keeps us away from creating content, videos, going live, getting up, speaking in front of people, is our own insecurities. Things that we deal with that we probably created when we was a child, and it carries on. I was at Ramsey speaking to a group of kids, and the young lady said she didn't want to speak because she didn't like her voice. And I said, well, I'm an adult. I have my own insecurities. I said, I always thought my ears were big like Will Smith. Well, she said, well, I would never thought your ears were big. Well, I said, well, she never would even thought it till I said something, because she didn't see what I saw. And so that's what keeps us from creating content. And content, it's such a buzzword. It's so watered down, but it's something that creates the attention that we need to drive traffic. So again, we started out early in business. All right, and even I understand most of you guys are not at the early stage of doing business. But in whatever stage you are at doing your business, is saying that if you're focusing on the product and you're focusing on the service and you're not bringing any attention to how I'm going to get people attention, it's 9 times out of 10 you're going to be struggling trying to find traffic, foot traffic. And so we started taking pages from Google, started taking pages from Facebook and Meta. Their business is getting attention. And how they get our attention, they start studying us. What do we like? It's so easy, ladies and gentlemen, we can say something and we see something on our phone. We can type in something on social media and it pops up because we gave them an indication of what we like. If you're searching something, you either need it or like it. And we have to train ourselves. Yeah, we don't have the technology that Facebook has, but we got the mindset. We got the brain power to think. If people are thinking about or need, overheard a conversation about, man, there needs to be more avenues to let people know what's going on in Birmingham. Right? So that's an indication that people are looking. They're thinking about what can I do in Birmingham. Somebody asked me when I came in, what's going on in Birmingham? What events going on? So I heard it twice today in this one room. So now I'm thinking in my head, what are people thinking about? How can I create something based off what these people are thinking about? And how can I create a business model off of that? How can I create an event based off what people are thinking about? So how do you find out what people are thinking about? You got to pay attention. Pay attention to what's around you. Pay attention to social media. See, when we look at social media, we're trained to look at it from an entertainment standpoint. What gives us endorphins, what we like, what makes us smile, what makes us interested in the politics, what makes us mad. We start paying attention to what makes us just kind of feel good from social media. But you can train yourself to look from your third eye and it's like, okay, what are they trying to teach us? What are they trying to prove through this social media? What are the underlying things that I can learn from reading comments? Not just reading comments to say I'm being messy, I'm being nosy, but I want to understand what other people are thinking. I believe that the Republican Party did an amazing job understanding what people were thinking, what their thoughts are, what their concerns are, and they leveraged that to their advantage. I don't think the Democrats did such a good job. So what we're doing is we're so locked in on after something's recorded, what's happening, versus understanding what people are actually thinking and why they're thinking that. And we have to start asking ourselves, if a person said that, why did they say that? So now that comes into psychographics, all right? Psychographics is just basically saying we become our own, like a psychologist, because we start analyzing what people say and what they think versus what they do, what they show us, what they're putting on social media. And we turn around, we take that data and we say, okay, how can I use that for an advantage to my business, my event, or what I have going on? And so my whole goal today is, my takeaway for you guys is to take a deeper dive into how you think about what you see and what you hear. Versus just taking it in, hearing it, and say, okay, I heard that, but why does he think like that? Why does she look like that? Why do they move like that? And then as you start breaking that down, start analyzing, say, okay, I can use that thought process to my own advantage. Riko, you might have to keep me on time too, because I'll go over. So doing business upside down, and I'm trying to make it just digestible to who's in the room based off what you guys do, and not go too far up with it. But doing business upside down is in layman's term, is saying that we can no longer post on Facebook and expect our business to grow. We can no longer just say, hey, I'm gonna go to a networking event and I'm just gonna keep going there and I'm gonna grow what I'm doing. We have to think outside the box. And there's the upside down part of it. That's the downside of it. The upside out of it is say, you know what? In today's time, what tools is out there for free that I can use? Social media is still a big tool. But how many guys are in here going live promoting what you do? Show of hands. Okay, so I got 2, 3, okay, all right. That is social media, Facebook, for instance, and TikTok. That is their number one thriving goal, is to get everybody going live, because it's real time, it's reality. And they can track where you are, what you're doing, who you're watching, and use that data to their advantage. They want people to go live. Now, personally, I don't like going live, but I understand the power of going live. But that's the upside down of doing business. Doing stuff that I don't want to do, the old way of thinking, like, man, I don't want to go live. I don't want to be on Facebook. I don't want to make videos. But doing business upside down says, you know what, if I'm going to thrive in this market space, I got to do and use the tools that social media is giving us. Now, it's not saying, well, I don't want to go live because I don't want Facebook to win. I don't want them I don't want to give in to what they want us to do. It's more or less, how can I use this tool to build my business so I can reach the goal that I want? How many guys are on TikTok, are using TikTok? Okay. All right. I got about 3. All right, 3 out of 10.
I've been banned off 4 times, so it's kind of, I mean, really, it's like, I just quit, but
Yeah.
I hate to use the word quit, but they,
Right,
for some reason or another, yeah, I use all the rest of them, but for some reason or another, I get it all built up and then boom, and start over. I don't know.
Well, it's you know, to your point, it's something that you done right, and it's something you done wrong to their standard. And so what I've learned is that we start using these platforms, and we're not studying these platforms. We're not studying what they actually can do and provide for us in our businesses. And so in the field that I'm in, I had to start studying TikTok. and how can I get the best use out of it? And so TikTok, they took their time and they built their platform up, and they got people dancing, they got people happy, and then they started going live. And the next phase of it was TikTok Shop. Now they're selling to us. The next big thing I look for TikTok to roll out is TikTok ads, in which you can't advertise on TikTok now, but they're not promoting as heavy as they are you promoting your products on there. And so us understanding as entrepreneurs and small business owners, every single tool that we can use out there, because if you hear the word TikTok, you automatically think that it's just a tool, it's a social media site just to play with, just something for folks to have fun. It is actually a business tool. It is a real live tool that you can use. But if you don't take the time to study the back end of TikTok, then you're not going to get use out of it. It's like people use Facebook ads. Anybody use Facebook ads? Facebook ads? Yeah. So you have people that stay away from it because they feel it's complicated. And you have people that stay away from it because they spent money and they get much out of it. But Facebook ads is, I would say, the number one way to get your business to a large amount of people in a very fast-paced time. All right. But oftentimes, our community, we don't take the time to study that, to actually look back in analytics and study, how do I get more visibility? Because that's what we're competing for as entrepreneurs. We're competing for attention. And we have to get smart on how we get attention. Now, you can be a person that can go entertain people. I'm not an entertainer. I'm not that funny. All right. So I don't have that gift. So, and I'm not doing drama. So how can I get people attention? And we hear this word consistency, creating content consistent, staying on social media consistently. But outside of that, how can you get your business thriving on social media, in the market space, where people are really searching for what you do? You really have to do the research on those social media platforms. All right. When I say research, how can anybody using AI? ChatGPT. All right. Good. Searching in ChatGPT, how can my particular business, let's say I'm in advertising, how can I use Facebook to advertise to 1,000 people that will pay me $350 a month? And that would allow you to get a better understanding of how to utilize Facebook. Because you're going to eventually you're going to get frustrated. I'm posting every day, or I got 2,000 likes, but the sales are not converting because you're missing the true definition of what Facebook can do for you. So again, my theory is the thought process of how you do things, because that's what they're preying on with us. They're looking at how we think, and they start asking themselves, why did he think like that? Why does he do that? Now we're going to reverse and start doing it ourselves. Why and how can we get the most out of what Facebook is giving us? They gave us this platform for a reason. Now, bigger businesses, they are making millions of dollars off of it because they pay for the research. Us, they feel like, well, we're going to follow in the entertainment part. We're just going to do it for fun, for likes. Then they start taking our money, like, okay, we're going to get these small business owners to funnel $50 a month, $1,000 a month, whatever you can afford. And then eventually, they're making more money off the small business owners than they are the big companies because we're not reading, we're not focusing, we're not paying attention to and understanding what Facebook can really be used for, TikTok, social media, or whatever platform. So that's my goal is don't waste your money, your time as an entrepreneur and not fully understand what the platform can do for your business, can do for your event. Get the full and maximum thing, because I want you guys to understand that when you walk out of here and your takeaway is like, when I see something in the entrepreneurial field, let me give you an example. The market space got real busy with lawyers in Birmingham. And the old way of doing it was, you guys remember Alexander Shannara. All right, he got almost sued for he bought almost every billboard from Alabama to Florida. And the other lawyers got mad and he monopolized it. And so they had to break it up and they wouldn't let him buy anymore. All right, behind him, so what happened was right after then, all the other lawyers started buying them. And so the billboard people are extremely happy because Shannara spent $1 million a year on that. All right, that's the old way of doing it. Anybody familiar with the radio ads from Top Dog Law? Yeah. All right, so here's the new guy. So he's gonna come in and say, okay, you know what? I'm gonna spend $1 million a year on radio ads. And I'm gonna be a little bit more edgy with it. Now, here's scenario. Now I can hear the other lawyers starting to turn the knob, the old school way of doing their radio ads towards the way Top Dog. And so what I'm talking about is me not just hearing a funny commercial on radio from Top Dog Law, or me not just hearing a story that Shannara normally just tell, a generic story, is me paying attention to how they're marketing to me and why the difference, why his is old school, why his is new school, why they're on the radio, why do you don't see Top Dog on billboards, but you hear him on the radio? And so now I'm training my mind to think outside the box. Why are these people marketing to me like that? Because me, I'm listening to 95.7, 94.9, and you listen to the type of commercials that Top Dog Law plays, it's about black people wanting to get a bunch of money quick for something, for nothing, for the simplest accident. And so they've done enough research to listen to that station and understand the people at this radio station, how do they think? They want money. They want something for nothing. And they want a bunch of money. And the guy, he comes on there, he's funny, he's talking about buying a new car, and he's gonna go buy this and buy that. And so what they did, they tapped into our mindset, our youth mindset, and they started advertising and marketing to that. And so that's my goal again, is for us to think and see with our third eye is, what are we listening to and why are they talking to me like this? And turn around and take the same knowledge. And so, okay, in my business or what I'm doing, how can I tap into the mindset of what people are thinking about? Not in a negative way. It's just like this event. You know, we promoting this event and we're using certain words in the caption is tapping into people's mind is just doing business. You know, that's a mindset for people. It's, the amount of entrepreneurs that are growing is crazy. And it's just as crazy to understand the amount of entrepreneurs that are leaving their jobs and then losing their houses. They have to go back and get a job. And so when we promote events like this, even when I title this event, I'm thinking about those people and those people that are having those thoughts like, man, my business is struggling. I'm not getting attention. I'm not getting foot traffic. And so Riko asked me, why did I title this? I said, well, I'm paying attention to comments. I'm talking to people who close their brick and mortars and they can't get enough foot traffic in the door. That's an everyday issue that people are dealing with. And so I started using that same data that I've been talking to people about to use this platform to come on and talk and create the topic, doing business upside down. We can no longer think old school ways of doing business. We have to flip and reverse it upside down and start thinking about, how can I get foot traffic first? How can I get people attention? What can I do to make sure that my business thrives before I start investing my 9-to-5 money, my savings into this business? What can I do to make my business sustainable? Because again, you have to ask yourself this question. What do you do when 1,000 people do the same thing you do? How do you stand out? How do you stand out on Facebook when 1 million people are posting the exact same thing that you do? And you have to start asking yourself that questions. And so again, my whole spiel today is about retraining our thought process to how we think about our business and who's involved in our business. How we looking on time, Riko? Okay. All right. So now I guess we can go into Q&A. Am I got any questions? Yes, sir.
In your bio, it said you went to YouTube University and Google University. How do I sign up?
So basically what I did was, that's in reference to that I didn't go to college, okay? And I was so passionate about starting this business that I sacrificed going out to the club at that time. I sacrificed watching, Netflix went out then, but I sacrificed going to the Red Box. I remember the Red Box had the DVD. I sacrificed doing that to studying YouTube videos. And that's research. And so that's where my degrees come in, because I've learned everything that I could possibly learn from Googling and YouTube. Just spending time, not just putting in one-word searches, but really taking time to read articles and read. And so, and at the time when I started this magazine, most of the advice were from older white people who had magazines. And you know what it said? It said, don't do it. it actually said on Google, don't start a magazine. Publications are dead. Getting advertising is extremely hard. I mean, I was just surprised all the negative stuff I saw from this. It said don't do it, but still that wasn't enough. So, but that's how I utilize YouTube. Again, just like Facebook and TikTok. Understand that Google and YouTube are real tools that can help you grow if you use them as a tool. Now, use it in entertainment, that's all it's going to be to you. But you have to realize that these things that they're provided to us, they gave it to us for entertainment. They gave it to somebody else to use to get rich. And we have to realize and look at YouTube and Google from a different perspective, and ChatGPT and AI and Facebook. How can I get the most out of these platforms? Because they out there for a reason, because they're making money for a reason. Yeah. Yes, sir.
So if someone was, I guess, starting up any type of business, right? Would you say the biggest obstacle is a lack of funding, or would you say it's their method of advertisement, or
What was the question again?
like whether it's a monetary thing or whether it's just a lack of advertisement?
You said the biggest hurdle, or
Yeah, the obstacle, like.
the biggest obstacle is themselves. To be honest with you, the biggest majority of entrepreneurs I've spoken to, and even dealing with in my own life, we are in our own way. We are our own biggest obstacle. Money is out there. Abundance of money is out there. Now, are we willing to do what it takes? Are we willing to believe in ourselves enough to go get the resources that we need? And then when it relates to advertising, are we willing to sacrifice to sit down and study advertising so we can add that component to our business? So I don't think resources or advertising is the number one thing. I think dealing with ourselves as entrepreneurs, because it goes back to those insecurities. At some point, your insecurity is going to be a hurdle in your business. And if you allow that to slow you down, then that won't allow you to learn more about advertising. Because what the bigger companies do, they go pay somebody. They go pay somebody that knows about advertising, that specializes in it. Until we get to that point where we have those type of resources, we have to learn and study for ourselves. So I believe, to answer your question, is we are the biggest hurdle in our own entrepreneurial journey, because we're focused on the passion of what we do. We love our product a lot. Let's say if I own a t-shirt company, I just know it's dope. Everybody's going to love it, and we're not focused on learning about advertising. We just stop right there. We stop and say, you know what, I got a great service, I got a great product, that's it. But we got to continue to learn about advertising and marketing to get past the other hurdles. So as entrepreneurs, we got to continue to learn every aspect of the business until we can afford to pay somebody to do it for us. Yes, sir.
What other personal growth, or I guess personal traits, do you think one should hone in on when going into entrepreneurship? I know you said, I guess investing in yourself is one of the key things. So
Yeah.
with that, you want to know how to communicate. If I'm being cliche, you got to know how to talk to people. You got to know how to brand yourself. So being that you're not focusing on the idea or the end goal so much, what other traits would you say invest in yourself?
I would invest in a solid spiritual foundation, because it's going to test you. Entrepreneurship is going to test you, and it doesn't. I don't say it doesn't matter. You know, whatever suits you best spiritually, because those times and days come where money can't fix everything, and you depend on your circle of influence. You know, wife or husband or whoever may not be able to answer the question you got, or may not be able to pick you up the way you need to be picked up. Because entrepreneurship and doing business is about putting out fires. You always got problems you got to solve consistently, regardless of what kind of business you're in. And at some point, you're dealing with business and you're dealing with life at the same time. You're dealing with business and life. And so when life happens, you have no control over that. And you still got to keep living. You got to keep waking up and surviving. But you still got this business you got to tend to, because you got money invested and you got people depending on you. So having a strong spiritual foundation allows you to bring some balance to what's going on in your life, in your business. Yeah, but to speak to that communication, again, I'm not a communication major. I'm not a person that spent a lot of time studying communication. I did force myself to start talking, you know, and just how I did that was just addressing my own insecurity. I don't like my own voice. You know, I coach basketball. One reason why my voice a little cracky today. I coach basketball because I'm always hollering. But at the same time, understanding what my insecurity is and addressing it, and know that I care more about getting up and doing my business, which requires me to speaking, more than I care about what I think about my voice. And so, and when it comes to communication, that's a lost art for our whole race, because they're teaching our kids not to communicate through music and other things like that. But as doing business, I wasn't shy. I was a guy that was trained to be low key, because my time I spent in the hood, I was trained not to speak, just kind of be tough and not, So I had to throw away all of that old thinking and retrain myself to be like, man, I gotta come in shaking hands. I gotta be comfortable telling people who I am and where I'm from and what I do. And so my training, just understanding, going back to thinking, like, if I'm gonna be an entrepreneur, I gotta think different. And why was I thinking like that before? Well, I thought I was hard. I wanted to be the toughest guy that walked in every room. Why I thought like that, and why? How did I even get that? I didn't grow up thinking like that. How did I get that mindset? Well, I mean, I used to listen to rap and Young Jeezy and other drug dealer rappers, and that fueled that mindset that I had. And so I had to start thinking, okay, now I'm paying attention to other entrepreneurs. How do they think? How do they walk in the room? And so everything about me is just studying. I'm overanalyzing, studying how do people think, why I'm doing this, why I'm talking like this, and how can I get better? And it allows me to get past certain hurdles. Yeah. Yes, sir.
So one question I had was, so what should you do if you're not social media savvy? Should you hire someone? Are there courses you can take to get better at it?
If you're not social media savvy, it's something that you have to put time into. All right, you're not going to jump on TikTok, and please believe, 3 to 5 years now, it's going to be a new platform that's going to be bigger than TikTok, and then we all going to be like, well, I don't want to learn. Like, it's just like Threads. So, but to answer your question, if you're not social media savvy, you got to spend time on it, and you got to ask questions. You got to seek counsel, because there's a child that can teach you, all right, and at least teach you the basics. But you got to seek counsel on what you don't know instead of just throwing it away. And if the opportunity is there to pay someone, just pay them to teach you. Don't pay them just to do it. Because when they leave and they do it the way they want to do it, and you don't know what you're paying for, then you're left out. But pay somebody to teach you. If there's opportunity to pay. And then there's free events that people are doing, or even some events that you can pay for that I've even hosted when it relates to being social media savvy. But seek the knowledge, because it's out there. That'd be the answer to that. Yes, ma'am.
Well, firstly, I would just like to say that I feel like you dropped a lot of gems today. I feel like a lot of what you said shouldn't have been free. So I just appreciate your, coming out and sharing your expertise. My question for you is, what were some points in your journey, or just some pivotal points for you that helped you solidify this formula of doing business upside down?
I would say some points would be experience. I wouldn't have got this far and obtained this knowledge without being 10 toes down in it and 100% invested in it. Even when I was working part-time, I felt like, or I knew at that point I was probably gonna get fired, because I was doing too much of my business and not enough at my job. Not getting there enough. I wasn't a good employee at the time. That was one thing, being 10 toes into 100% invested in what you do. Another thing is I've picked up the desire to learn more and learn from everybody. That was the biggest thing that really has helped me, is the desire to learn. Good guy or bad guy, I'm trying to learn from him. I'm trying to understand why he or she thinks like that. What can I do better? How can I duplicate what they're doing? And so the desire just to learn at every opportunity I can. That's the biggest thing for me. Yes, sir.
Appreciate you for coming through, man.
Yeah,
I know you mentioned something about not just honing in on the demographics, but also the social graphics.
Yes.
So what are some of those social cues that you tend to look for that stem from the demographics? So like if you're looking at males, for example, what makes you do like black males and white males, and like how do you develop those studies so that it embarks you into operating?
Okay, so it's just like for me, with my magazine, the demographics is heavily women. black women, right? And so they spend more money advertising than men do, actually. And so, okay, let me start thinking about why. And I started asking questions, different people. And I found out that one, women seek attention more than men do. So if you're a woman-based business, and not attention in a bad way, you're more likely to spend money than a male would. So I started understanding that, okay, if I sell advertisement, I sell attention. I sell my audience to get people attention for these entrepreneurs. So what helps you understand is niching down to that particular person. And you start watching the habits that they have. What do they do? What do they don't do? And you take a deeper question. Why do they do that? Why do they don't do it? You go a little bit deeper. If this is the reason why, let me look at the why and understand. See, can I figure out their why? Because once you understand someone's why, you're pretty much got the key to their door. So figuring out their why is the biggest part of that when it comes to psychographics. Getting in, and sometimes it takes starting all the way at the top of bottom of a pyramid where it's very wide. And so, okay, I got a group of black males, 35 to 50, and then you go up to the next part of the pyramid. Well, this group of 35 to 50, they all are in Birmingham. Okay, so the next one is, okay, they all like the same thing. Okay, then the next thing then, okay, well, a few of them do this, half of them don't do that. And you go up to the next one, okay, only a few are actually doing this. I wonder why. Let me find someone in this category. Let me ask them. Let me put this post out on Facebook. I'm looking to find out why. I think they do ISO. You know, why are people doing this? So you did ask 1,000 questions to get to the right answer. But that's the key that you're looking to open up a door, is asking more questions. Yeah.
Are you familiar with the term, it's not what you know, it's who you know?
Yes.
Do you believe that to be true?
Yes. Also, I believe it's not what you know is who you know, and I also believe it's how well you know someone. So it's just like me. If I would have got up here and started talking, and I didn't give you guys a piece of my bio, you didn't know who I was, you're less likely to believe who I am and what I said. But the fact that I gave you, he said my bio, but I took time to reintroduce myself because you guys are more bought in. Like he's a real person. He's worked a 9 to 5. He struggled. You know, I kind of gave you bits of my story, and you're more likely to buy into what I'm saying and receive what I'm saying because it's more what you know about a person than the person. Because you can know someone and not know them. You can know, like you said, it's who you know, and it's not what you know. You can know someone, but it's to that point when you really know them and know about them, and you start asking your question why they did this, then it's more of why you know someone. Yeah. Good question. Yes, sir.
I want to harp on this, but
Okay.
what are some channels or some videos that really sparked your journey in entrepreneurship? Like is there some YouTube channels I can check out, or some Facebook pages, or
Yeah. So one of the things that I love that really sparked me to think is Chick-fil-A commercials. There's a thought process behind Chick-fil-A commercials. It really is. Outside of that, man, I'm a huge fan of Social Proof Podcast with David Shands. Um, forgot his name. Oh, golly, forgot his name. Forgot his name. I'll tell you before I leave. Another guy. Oh, Myron Goldman. I'm sorry, Myron Goldman. Myron. Yes, Myron Goldman. Yeah. And so even when I'm looking at YouTube, and I'm not biased, I'm not looking for just black people. I'm not listening just to anybody. I'm looking up marketing, advertising in 1975, and I might watch a video and see how they did Pepsi commercials. I'm horrible with names. There's 2 companies in Birmingham that are, I would say, advertising agency by 2 legends. And one was the first black male or first black company to ever get a contract with Coca-Cola. I'm pretty sure somebody knows his name in here. I'm telling you, it'll come to me. But all the time, I'm O2 Ideas is the name of the company, and then the other guys who started the Birmingham Times magazine, and Mr. Lewis, yes, Mr. Lewis, that's right. So those guys started back a long time ago, and so I'm studying how were they able to get people attention in that time. And even the guy I studied doing the magazine, John Johnson, that started the Jet. Was it Jet Magazine? Started Jet Magazine, Ebony Magazine. Understanding, because that's the old way of doing business. That still works. It's just understanding why they did the things they did, and now how can I marry that with what we're doing in today's time. So I'm always learning old versus new and how to marry the two. So that's my goal. Yep.
So you talked a lot about how you can, market and advertise to the people that you're trying to, get your product to, but how do you get people to believe in the work that you're doing that, like from a networking standpoint? How do you get, like business support, if that makes sense?
Putting out a good product, being who you say you are. There's a lot of fake and phony out here. So that was in my bio. When you meet me and you hear about me, you hear about this particular business that I do, personally, you're going to hear where he does good business. He does what he says he's going to do. From a business standpoint, he puts out quality work. It's consistent. So that alone is word of mouth that consistently flows. And it comes with time. We live in a microwave society where people want to do stuff fast. They want to be known fast. And I'm still kind of old school in it. You got to put in the work. Putting in the work will elevate you in the market space, especially in a place like Birmingham. If you're doing business in Birmingham and your target audience is here, put the work in. And it takes time. It takes some grunt work, but put the work in and it will pay off. Yep. Yeah. All right, I think that's it, y'all. Thank you. I hope y'all ain't bored, y'all. Appreciate it. Don't forget there's some free magazines back in the back.
Oh, man. Let's give Riko another round of applause. Man. Free game. A lot of free game. And that is one reason why I designed this class, doing it as a nonprofit. Like, I want people to get this knowledge at no cost. Like, and a lot of the things that he was saying is hitting me personally with me starting this nonprofit. I want this whole room packed. I got 6 empty seats. Like, how can I get this room packed? So a lot of what you said, man, just thank you. Thank you for taking the time out. I know you got a busy schedule, but I really do appreciate everything that you said, like real gems. Just some recap about some things that he touched on. So one of the words that hit me was algorithm. And so when I researched the word, we all know that has Islamic origin. Algorithm, the etymology of it is it comes from Islamic mathematics philosophy. It's founded by a Persian Muslim. So a lot of when you see the word al, it means the, right? So al-ijaba, the answer. Even algebra, that also has Islamic connotation. So just tying that to the effects of these Muslim thinkers and how they've shaped the world that we live in today we're seeing it in the technology. It's really incredible. And a lot of what he talked about is like psychology, like the mindset. Like, what are you really feeding your mindset? What are you feeding your mindset? Like, this class, what's the knowledge? I'm trying to feed positive knowledge, like things you can really take home and ponder on. But this information is so good. I'm just like glowing because it's exactly what I need to hear, and I want other people to hear it. It's very relevant. And authenticity, like starting a business is not easy. It's not easy. And I love how you said you have to have that spiritual foundation. That's what's really gonna keep you going. That's what's gonna keep you motivated. We as Muslims, we're obligated to pray 5 times a day. We have optional chances. But that type of grounding, that type of discipline, it keeps you grounded when you're trying to do entrepreneur efforts and you're trying to start something off the ground, you're trying to start something from scratch like Ali Jabba, I see the vision, but I got to get outside and do the grunt work. Like, it's one thing to talk about it, but we got to be about it and really do the work. And it really, really hit home. Something that you also spoke about was education, seeking the knowledge. And you guys are seekers. Y'all came to really see what Riko had to say today. A friend of mine told me that anything that they don't want blacks to know, they'll put it in a book because we don't read. We don't read. We gotta read. We gotta educate ourselves. We have to put value on education. And me personally, I'm not a school guy. I dropped out twice from college because I'm really an arts person. I love chasing the arts and entertainment scene. Like, that's really my heart. But I knew, and my parents really encouraged me to push myself to graduate because that education was so important. And, you know, if anything that we can take away from today, let's just really hone in on all of the free knowledge that's out there. Something that hit me during this talk also was, what if they charge for these services? Like, what if they charge for Facebook? What if they charge for YouTube? What if they charge for TikTok? They could really run up a lot of money on us if they charge for these services. And they're free. Google, everything is free. So let's take advantage. And we also have to be adaptable. You know, we're living in a fast changing world. The technology is changing by the second. The artificial intelligence. And I'll close with this. Let's be careful to not get too consumed because the powers that be, they want us to live in an artificial world, right? We have the live streaming. We have the virtual reality, right? These things are trying to get you out of reality and put you in a fake place. So we have to be conscious of these things and not let it overpower you, overconsume you, but take the good out of it because God put good in everything. So with that being said, again, thank you guys for coming out to the December edition of What's the Knowledge. This is a monthly class educational experience. This is our third class. So we kicked off in October. And our mission basically right now is to do community service on a Saturday. And the following day, that Sunday, is when we have the What's the Knowledge. So we're just trying to get bigger and better and grow this and grow this and grow this to the point where we can have major speakers on a global scale coming to Birmingham. And as we continue to do our work, branching out into different cities, to just give these free gems. We are a 501c3, so I am taking donations today. They are tax deductible, so feel free if you have anything to spare, taking donations in the back, and they're going toward just general operations. We're getting ready to start our collaborations and helping massage it locally to just get their websites together, you know, anything digital, building infrastructure. All of these donations will go toward helping mosques that are in place. And then we also have a separate building fund to where we can build and establish masajid in areas that don't even have a place to pray and worship. So at this time, I would like to close out with a prayer for us. And just feel free to tap in however you feel free. Dear God, thank you for such a great What's the Knowledge class today. I pray that the information that Riko Harris gave was beneficial. I pray that everyone can take something from it and apply it to their lives. And I pray that you help Ali Jabba Foundation to reach monumental heights and make historic achievement. And I thank you for every single person that took time out of their day to come and support this cause, this effort. And I pray that we all just continue to learn, continue to seek the knowledge that you put on this planet. And I pray that you help us to find it and make the best of it. And I pray that you just help us, guide us aright, and bless every single person in this room as we go out and continue our chapters and our journeys in our lives, as we continue to be business owners, and just help us with whatever we're trying to accomplish. Dear God, thank you so much. Amen. Thank y'all. Oh yeah, please follow us on social media at Ali Jabba Foundation, and sign in on the guest sheet if you didn't. That way I can create continue to add to our email list.